how's it going? My name's David. I'm a filmmaker and photographer based in SoCal. Today I'm going to be talking about how I shoot portraits on expired film and how I even did a professional shoot on it, which was really scary, but I'll talk about that a little later on. 3, 2, 1. I'll take one more. So my first time shooting expired film was a couple months back when my friend Ramsey's gifted me a roll of fujicolor Super HQ 200, which he found at a thrift store. And before that, I had never shot color film before, only black and white. I wanted to do something special for my first roll of color film, which was shoot portraits, because I've always wanted to shoot portraits on film. And I figured I might as well do it now, or else I'm never gonna get around to it, especially the way film prices are rising. So these first few photos were taken in my friend Ramsey's backyard around golden hour. Normally this would be a good thing, but I was shooting this film at 50 ISO, so it was a little harder to expose with less natural light. I rated this film at 50 ISO because it expired in 2005, and I was following the one stop per decade rule, which basically just says that you should overexpose by one stop per decade that your film has been expired. It's not exactly like a set in stone rule or anything, but it's just a helpful guideline, kind of like Sunny 16. It definitely helped me out. I don't think the images would have been nearly as clean if I hadn't followed that rule. So yeah, I strongly recommend doing that whenever shooting expired film. I didn't really have a theme in mind when shooting these portraits, but looking back on them, I realized that props like the basketball, rifle, and even the hues of the grass scream American life, to me anyway. I even ended up snapping a picture of this American flag later on in the roll, as well as this photo of a dog in front of a house. As a diptych, I think this works as an homage to the idea that many have of the American dream, but set in the desert. Instead of a white picket fence, you have a chain link fence, and the grass is replaced by mostly sand. It's a different perspective on a classic concept. By the way, the girl in frame is one of my homies who didn't want her face to be shown, but honestly, I think these photos work really well even with that crop. This photo shoot has kind of inspired the way I take portraits now, showing more of how people interact with their environments. These pictures are from Imogen's Hollenberger Cafe, Imogene, I don't know, which is actually the diner from Kill Bill 2. I didn't know I lived 30 minutes away from it, but it was really cool to shoot there. This is my homie Ramses in these pictures, and I love the outfit we ended up picking out. The red in his jacket really makes him pop, and I'm really glad he brought his Praktica camera with him, as I think it sells the throwback 70s look I was going for. Once again, I think the diner setting combined with the wardrobe gives us an old school American vibe. I think putting my friends in these settings creates a cool subversion since they are Latino and the traditional image of American life is often whitewashed. In a way, these portraits show that the American dream and culture aren't exclusive to one group. I will say that I had to edit this roll pretty heavily because when I got my scans back, oh, by the way, shout out Laguna Film Lab in Apple Valley, California. But when I got my scans back, they had this very red tint, and I think that's due to the storage, how this film was stored. It probably was stored in somewhere that had a lot of heat, so there's this big color shift. Thankfully though, I was able to edit that pretty easily in Lightroom just by adjusting the red color curve. But honestly, I kind of like the photos with the red tint too. Like, it gives it this old vintage feel mixed with the clothing, which I tried to go for a vintage look this time around. So I don't mind the red tint, but for my sake, I wanted to see what they looked like with, normal true to life colors. As true to life as expired film can get anyway. And then I also shot just some random photos here and there, just stuff, landscapes. I try to do a photo shoot at night at Juni's Market, and some pictures came out, some pictures didn't. I think I didn't sync the flash right, but either way, these look very creepy but cool, so I really like that. And I'm really happy with how they turned out, especially my first time shooting color film, expired film, and rated at 50 ISO. So yeah, I really love how those photos turned out, so I wanted to shoot more expired film, which led me to buying, this is actually where the box comes from. I bought a 4-pack of these, the same film stock, fujicolor Super HQ 200. These expired in 2004, so actually 20 years ago. So I followed the same rule for the second time that I shot this, which was for a professional gig. But then I started to get really worried because it was a paid gig this time around, and I was scared that, because even though the film was said to have been sorted in a cool environment, I was just scared that no photos would come out, which is one of the risks that you face when shooting expired film. A lot of the time you don't know how the film is stored, so the quality of your photos is gonna vary a lot. But either way, I was just like, whatever, I'll take the risk, and I'll just bring my digital camera as a backup, which I recommend doing. I'll just bring that as a backup so I have something to present. And I think this roll is even better than the last, honestly. Like, this roll I didn't have to edit a lot. Shout out to Red Room Photo Lab in Van Nuys, California, by the way. These scans are super sharp, and I didn't have to do much editing this time around. I think that's because the film was stored properly this time. I did do some little exposure tweaks. Some of these might have been a little overexposed, but like I said, I don't really care. It's something that you can fix in post, or something that you don't even have to fix at all depending on the photo. Since this film was stored properly, you can actually see some of that Fuji green on these photos, and I think they look great, especially with the flowers and the plants. We were in downtown Riverside, just doing like a little homies shoot pretty much, and we actually started shooting at around 1 to 1:30 p.m., which most photographers don't really recommend that you shoot portraits at that time just because of the harsh sunlight. But because I was shooting at 50 ISO, I knew I wanted more light than maybe I really needed, but I just wanted like a little cushion for error. But I think these look great. Again, like I said, I even got a double exposure in there. Somehow I was taking the shot of Brian, just a portrait, and it got mixed in with the shot of them walking, which honestly I love. I loved it the way it turned out, because look, his eyes, they're right where this shadow is from this little roof thingy. I'll be honest, I don't love the photo of Brian and Melvin. This guy's name is Melvin, by the way. He's cool. I don't love that photo, but as a double exposure, I think it's great. If you've been wanting to shoot expired film just to try it out or experiment, I definitely recommend it. It's pretty cheap most of the time to find on eBay. That's where I get my expired film. As far as tips for shooting it, I definitely would recommend following the one stop per decade rule. It helped me out a lot. I'm still experimenting with taking portraits, honestly, so it's only up from here. It's just the beginning, and I'm still learning. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to doing more shoots with this. Would I recommend it for professional shoots? I don't think I would recommend it, but maybe try it out. I wouldn't recommend it outright for professional shoots just because the results can vary a lot, and you might not even get any results depending on how badly the film was stored or how long it's been expired. But I mean, it worked out for me. So it's just a bunch of trial and error. I would for sure say either bring a backup camera or backup film, like new film, like something that's actually on the shelves that isn't expired, just to have something to deliver to your client. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on expired film. I've been wanting to make a video for a long time. I really like stuff like this where I talk about my process of making pictures and stuff like that. And I also didn't see a lot of videos on this particular film stock, so I'm glad to put another one out there that more people can see. So yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys want to see next. I don't know what I want to do with this channel really, so yeah, stay tuned and thanks.